I've got no idea what just happened either. I wasn't really clued up on the story. Didn't expect it to go that way. Thought it'd be more discussive than that. I think we got carried away. But do you know what? I stand by it, and I'm sure you do too. That was quality entertainment. We're never going to eat Pringles again. We are officially done with the eating Pringles section of the show. So, Stumpy, talk to me about Tfue suing FaZe Clan, brackets, out of bloody nowhere. Because that happened, brackets, out of bloody nowhere.
I've actually got out of bloody nowhere. Then underneath it says, when I say out of nowhere, I mean it. Like, it took everyone by... I don't know why I'm doing these notes for me, like saying, like, it took everyone by surprise. I know it did.
It did. It took us by surprise.
So, we should start off with a little bit of context. No. Start off with a little bit of context.
Don't bring it towards yourself.
Where, basically, start off at the beginning of Tfue, where he had a relatively small stream around 14-ish months ago.
Yes.
Under 1,000 views per stream, around 100, 200 subs, relatively low in the grand scheme of Twitch.
I think he was pushing about 1,000 viewers at that point before FaZe came along.
It's still...
Because he'd...
Yeah.
Just in context, I think he'd just got the world record for the most kills in a solo game of Fortnite. So he was making a name for himself, but certainly not becoming filthy rich overnight.
And then when he was playing Fortnite, he queued into the owner of FaZe by sheer chance, a man called Banks. They teamed up, found out that he was amazing. Banks is saying that he's better than Ninja, better than Myth at the time as well on TSM. And therefore, long story short, Tfue ended up joining FaZe because of that. Had to be pushed a lot by Banks to the Fortnite team and saying, try him out, try him out. They declined him originally. And said, look, we don't want you in the team. No, we don't want to try him. We don't want to try out with him.
Is that because he wasn't in the inner ring? He wasn't part of their gang?
And then Banks was like, look,
right?
I wouldn't recommend him if I didn't think this was going to be it. So Banks then pushed him, ended up being in the FaZe Clan for the Fortnite team. Like Cole said, already doing relatively well.
Yes.
Got a bit of a name for himself. And now, as of right now, he's the top streamer on Twitch. 1 year later, he's got around 55,000 average viewers per stream, and also he's making millions per year streaming off this. Obviously, he's also got his YouTube channel, which is getting 5 to 10 million views per video. Lots of brand deals, lots of sponsorships, a lot of stuff going on for him. And then...
Yeah, so everything seemed great, basically, didn't it? It was FaZe and Tfue, and they'd been together for a year and a half. Everything seemed fantastic.
Banks personally invested in him as well by buying him, like, his setup and stuff at the beginning.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. So these guys have had so much history together. He'd actually been out to LA to live at the FaZe house and then come home because he wanted to compete in the Fortnite World Cup upcoming. And then he goes on Twitter and he says, I'm going to be suing FaZe. Everyone's like, what?
Sorry?
Keemstar, you know Keemstar of,
Unfortunately,
what's it called? Drama Alert. He has to contact Banks in his sleep and go, oi, Banks, check Drama Alert, because you'll
Just a heads up.
You'll like this news. Tfue basically went behind Banks' back to make this public, which is unbelievable for a start.
Tfue has said that he's suing FaZe Clan because of oppressive and predatory contracts. He attempted to get out of his contract back in September 2018, unsuccessfully so, of course, and he made a lot of claims in this lawsuit. So he was saying that, firstly, like we said, the contracts were unfair. Originally, he said that there was an 80-20 split for any money earned across everything in favour of FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan then come back and denied that and said, actually, the contract is the other way round. It's 80% to Tfue, 20% to FaZe Clan, at which point they are then saying that even though we had that, we've never even collected nearly that amount because we've collected $0 in tournament winnings, $0 of your Twitch revenue, $0 of YouTube revenue, and $0 from any social platform. The most they have collected in total over everything they've done.
So they claim.
So they claim is $60,000 from 2 partnership deals, of which they took 20%.
Now, Keemstar weasels his way back into the story at this point, because after Banks tweeted this out, saying that only $60,000 has been made through Tfue, Banks said, I don't even want the money, you know, I don't even want it, I just want Tfue to be part of our brand, because he's doing good work apart from the money we're making. Yeah, Keemstar comes in, and he goes, oh, well, if you don't want that 60k, I'll have it, and we can bring back Fortnite Fridays.
I hate him.
So that's coming back.
Right.
Fortnite Fridays are back.
Right, I don't care, right.
But it's
screw
part
him.
of the story.
Screw
it's a big
him.
part of the story, because he's getting the $60,000. You can't just write him out of history.
Regardless, the lawsuit that is happening, he was also saying that not only is the contract awful, apparently, he was also pressured to drink underage, because America was weird and you have to be 21, and he was 20 at the time. Apparently he was pressured to drink underage in the FaZe house and at parties, and also to perform dangerous stunts.
Yeah, so basically, if anyone doesn't know Tfue, lucky you, a big part of his life, his entire history, has been jumping off stuff, landing on things,
Jumping
doing
into lakes from bridges.
boogie boarding and
Yeah.
longboarding and stuff. Like, he was the first person to do a 700 or 900 spin on a boogie board.
Okay.
Like, he is a world record holder.
stunter.
Yeah, he is a stunter, naturally. So to then sort of turn around and go, oh, FaZe made me,
Yeah.
seems very off to me, because that's what he and his entire family grew up doing. They love it.
So
They
his
love it.
lawyer said that he has allegedly, permanently disfigured his arm from a stunt that FaZe made him do for a social media video, of which this has not been mentioned before. He's never made a thing of it previously, and there's no record that it actually happened. Now, also, allegedly, there's so much allegedly in this, allegedly FaZe signed an 11-year-old to their team and then pressured the kid and his family into lying about his age so that he could then be signed into the org. That's had no basis for it, but that is included in the lawsuit. It seems like...
And it's just calling FaZe out for everything that he can think of, basically.
Yeah, it seems like from Banks' video... So Banks also then released a 20-minute video, which I watched all of, and it was emotional. Like, really emotional. He was just saying, look...
Thought we were family, man.
I thought we were family.
Yeah.
Like, we've done so much together. I was there for you when nobody else was. I basically made you. And he was in this video, still being modest. He was saying, look, I appreciate you are incredibly talented. You're amazing. That's why we approached you as FaZe Clan. But...
Do you believe it? Do you believe everything Banks has said then? Because I haven't seen the video. Were you looking at it thinking, oh, I'm not sure about that?
No, to make a whole judgment on the situation, I want to hear more from Tfue.
He's being very lawyery
nothing.
at the moment, isn't he? Tfue is basically not hiding behind lawyers, because you have to use lawyers, but he is certainly communicating via them already, which is maybe what leads me to think that he's jumped straight into the extreme side of things, gone full legal mode straight away, which maybe there was a chance to sort this out behind closed doors. Like, I think
and which Banks was hurt by.
Exactly. I think that's why Banks is most upset. I presume that's why Banks is most upset, because he hasn't even had a chance to talk this stuff through, because there may have been a happy ending for all. Now, FaZe Clan's entire sort of business structure has been called into disrepute, which is incredibly awkward for them, of course. Well, they may well be guilty, but they have to have a chance to fix it beforehand. I mean, think of all the chances that, to take an extreme bad example, Echo Fox had. They had years of these emails going around to fix it, and they never took that opportunity. But now it seems that FaZe haven't had that chance. There was also Nadeshot, who, as soon as Tfue came out with his accusations, Nadeshot went on Twitter, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's terrible what some of these orgs do. You know, they take advantage of everyone." They take the mick out of everyone, and it's also really terrible. And then Banks posted in response to Nadeshot, going, "Oh, you shouldn't come out and make public things, but you don't know what you're talking about."
Saying you're chasing clout and everything. And then Nadeshot's like, "Okay, delete that." Shouldn't have tweeted that.
To his credit, Nadeshot, as you say, then did say,
"Sorry, guys.
I should have waited till both sides of the story had come out." But it's another one of those stories that you and I are probably never going to know the full extent of everything. You know, we the people are probably not going to know it. It's all
out of nowhere.
Because it's so out of nowhere.
Yeah. So, if you have any thoughts about this as well, hashtag the DDL.
Please
let us know, because I want to hear as many opinions on this as possible, because it's such a divisive thing. I looked at FaZe's Instagram and Tfue's Instagram, looking at the comments. On each other's, there's just comments about the other one. Everyone is saying, "I can't believe you do this to Tfue, blah, blah." And then on Tfue's Instagram, they're saying, "I can't believe you do this to FaZe." There's so much he said, she said, so I'm reluctant to make a big comment on it, but Banks' video looked incredibly genuine.
I need to watch this.
And right now, because I've heard nothing really from Tfue apart from lawyer speak, I am siding with Banks, at least for the emotional side, not necessarily for the factual side of it.
Yeah, the chances are that FaZe have done some form of misdoing. And at some point... Go on.
No, I was going to say, there's the next topic that we need to get to for this as well.
Yeah, OK, so which leads on to whether players should have unions and be protected more than they are. So esports players' unions... Basically, America's not very good at protecting its people once they get into contracts. It's a very corporate-friendly world, right? So as soon as a player signs for an esports org, they are under their thumb, which means they need some protection, like you have, as you see here in basketball, where basketballers, they're protected by people who know what's best for them.
Yeah, same with a lot of any sport sort of around the world at the moment has normally got a union where they will talk to the employers, i.e. the clubs or orgs, on behalf of the players, and it means that complaints can come through anonymously in a lot of cases. Because if a player says to their manager saying, "Oh, I don't like how this is run," immediately they then might be put on the bench. They might then have adverse effects because they're speaking out. A union, in the face of the middleman, to go in between that and say, a player from the team has come to us and said, this is wrong, let's sort this out. And it's always nice middleman, and it does get stuff done.
It's also, though, before you even get to that point, the player might have been coerced. So footballers generally already have a bit of protection. But say an esports player, this 11-year-old kid, he might have been told by FaZe, if we assume the extreme bad side of FaZe, FaZe might have gone to him and gone, oh, you know, no one else is going to sign you. If you don't take this opportunity, sign with us, sign whatever contract we throw at you, you'll never get this opportunity again. That's where that kid would have had, would need a third-party...
like a lawyer or a solicitor.
Yeah, someone in the middle to give them advice, and he might say, oh, is this true? And I say, no, that's not true, don't sign that. They're not going about this the right way.
Or, even if they go to a lawyer, they might not know. Esports is still so new that they might not be versed well in sort of the side of contracts. So saying, look, I don't know what's good in esports, but if you have a union who then knows that stuff, they can compare it to the other players and have a really good sample size.
Do you think that esports will ever become a specialist in law? An esports lawyer?
I think it would just be chucked under the umbrella of sports in terms of law.
Well, it's not being chucked under the umbrella of sports for visas and stuff like that.
No, now it's not. No.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So it's already...
But they're also not the same thing.
No, exactly. So it's sort of separated at the very top, and that's why there are so many visa issues. That's why taxation for winnings can sometimes be so over the top, because it's seen as gambling winnings as opposed to sports winnings.
I think a lot of the laws are going to become a thing of going between esports and sports in the same idea, or at least lawyer-wise.
In a perfect world, that'd be the case. So it's interesting to find out what's going to happen over the next 5-10 years, because this is still such a young thing. Other than that, it's been a very interesting episode. How was your delicious Pringly soup, mate? Was it good?
You can't stop me. You can't stop me!
Come on!